You open your eyes to darkness, not the kind of darkness that accompanies closed eyelids or the soft hush of a moonless night, but a suffocating, tangible void that clings to your skin like a second layer. It is the sort of blackness that feels alive, a presence in and of itself. You reach out, grasping for anything, furniture, a wall, a shred of light, but your fingers find only emptiness. Then the whispers begin. At first, they are a quiet susurration, like the faint rustle of wind stirring dead leaves. But they grow quickly, each thread weaving into a chorus of incomprehensible voices, speaking in tongues long lost to time. Your heart hammers against your ribcage, a frantic prisoner in a cage of bone, and your throat tightens as though constricted by invisible hands. You are not alone. You can feel it in the prickling of your skin, the electric tension in the air. Then, light. But it isn't the gentle glow of a candle or the bold warmth of the sun. No, it writhes and undulates, creeping like a living tendril from the corners of your vision. It twists the shadows into grotesque silhouettes that seem to move on their own. Your stomach lurches in protest at the wrongness of it. Shapes flicker, half-formed apparitions dancing just beyond comprehension. The terror within you swells, uncoiling like a serpent rearing to strike. A figure stands before you, though it has no discernible eyes. Still, you sense its gaze, cold and unblinking. A static charge saturates the air, making every hair on your arm stand on end. It watches, it waits. Then, in a voice like the scraping of stone against stone, it speaks. You should not have come here. A chill runs down your spine. Where is here? You try to recall how you arrived in this place, but the memory writhes away from your grasp. A moment ago, was it truly only a moment? You were at home, or somewhere safe. Now, your thoughts slip like sand between your fingers. The figure tilts what might be its head, and the pulsing glow emanating from it intensifies. Tell me, do you believe in fear? Fear, the primal force that has guided your ancestors since the dawn of sentient thought, urging them to flee from predators in the dark. It is a fundamental equalizer, capable of reducing the mightiest to trembling children. You don't need to answer, the being already knows. And so your descent into the abyss begins. Fear is ancient. It predates kings and gods, predates the first name ever spoken, predates the earliest myth etched into stone. There exist beings older than this primal dread, entities that do not merely inhabit the darkness, but are the darkness itself, the Nameless King. He has no realm on any map, no empire carved into the annals of history. No scripture honors him, no monument bears his likeness. Yet he has always been there, a monarch of nothingness, an emperor of absence, a ruler of the forgotten. When the universe was new, when nebulous clouds of gas birthed the first stars, he was already old, observing from beyond the edges of creation. He doesn't thunder with rage, nor does he brood on vengeance. He is indifferent to worship. Silence is his domain, and it extends through every corner of existence. And for reasons you cannot articulate, you sense that his reign is eternal. No war, no cosmic upheaval, no ephemeral god can unseat him. He merely is. They say he bears no name because names wield power. His name should have been etched in cosmic fire, declared across the infinite tapestry of space. Yet it was devoured by the void before it could be fully spoken. But make no mistake, his silence is not mercy. He rules with an inevitability that transcends mortal comprehension, unraveling all that is real, thread by fragile thread. Long ago, before mortal hearts first beat, the earliest gods supposedly tried to claim dominion over reality. They learned to fear him, not because he destroyed them directly, but because in his presence, even divine beings felt themselves slipping away. He did not create, he did not destroy. He merely existed in a state that nullified all else. To look upon the Nameless King is to be undone. His crown is formed of shadows, snaking and contorting like living tendrils. His robe is woven from cosmic dust and the dying embers of ancient stars. His throne is a tear in reality itself, a place where existence bleeds away into nothing. Those who seek him, those naive or arrogant souls who whisper into the void, convinced they can glean forbidden truths, discover only the end of their own identities. His presence lingers in the moments lost to inattention, the fleeting instants between one heartbeat and the next, the fractures in time that slip away unnoticed. He consumes memories and devours names. His kingdom is an ever-expanding graveyard of unmade realities, drifting in the blackness between galaxies, a silent testament to the slow erasure that he embodies. Scholars and adventurers from every corner of existence have sought him, only to vanish without a trace. Civilizations rise and crumble, leaving behind cryptic references to a silent force that unthreads history itself. Some conjecture that the stars in the night sky are but the last sparks of once great pantheons, their final radiance flickering into oblivion. Others believe black holes are the sites where his dominion grows strongest, swallowing light and matter alike in a cosmic reflection of his own endless hunger. If you've ever woken with an unshakable sense that something is missing, some dream or memory stolen from your sleep, you have brushed against his shadow. If you've ever opened a door in a hallway, certain it had never been there before, only to find darkness beyond, or caught sight of your name scrawled where it shouldn't be, then you have known his touch. Those who feel him cannot banish him. He lingers, an ever-present hush residing at the edges of perception. He does not steal your body, nor does he devour your soul. He preys on something deeper, your very existence. Bit by bit, he unravels you. First, the world forgets the sound of your voice. Next, your reflection disappears from mirrors. Soon, the name you once cherished becomes a meaningless sequence of letters. And finally, those who loved you most will see only emptiness where you stand, not even a memory. And one day, you simply cease to be. Yet, you remain, in some capacity, trapped within his silent kingdom, neither dead nor alive, lost forever, a disembodied echo in a place without light or time, where the only constant is the certainty that you are missing. Some might wander for an eternity, encountering only the hollow after-images of others who have also been consumed. No stories speak of escape from him. No myth recounts a champion who stood triumphant against his power. Even the most ancient deities, older than worlds, could do nothing but watch him unmake reality, piece by piece. He exists on a scale that renders all struggles moot. Some believe he will only awaken fully at the end of time, when the last star's glow fades and existence itself teeters on the brink of oblivion. Others insist he roams among us already, cloaked in anonymity, his presence sensed only in fleeting glimpses or inexplicable moments of déjà vu. Every missing second, every forgotten thought, is a testament to his quiet influence. He desires no disciples, demands no prayers. Still, there are those who yearn for him. They gather in hidden places, caves, abandoned temples, ancient ruins, whispering incantations in lost languages. They bow not in fear, but in desperate reverence, hoping to embrace the nothingness he offers. Perhaps they believe that by accepting oblivion, they ascend beyond mortal limitations. He is not death. He is far more insidious, the gradual erosion of all things. Where death is a closure, a definitive final act, the Nameless King offers only a timeless void. In his domain, every story unravels, every record fades, until there is silence and the emptiness that stretches beyond imagination. If you ever hear a distant metallic ring, like a crown dropping on cold stone, know that he is near. In that ringing echo, all certainties tremble, and the illusions you call truth grow brittle. Even the laws of physics, so dependable in daily life, might distort under his scrutiny. For in his presence, reality weakens, as if all creation were a fragile shell enveloping the boundless chasm of non-existence. You blink, and the darkness disperses. The familiar contours of your own room surround you. The whispers are gone. Yet the fear clings to you like residue from a nightmare. Knowledge cannot be unlearned. He is watching. Somewhere just beyond your reach, he lingers in the hush between your breaths. One day, when cosmic alignments weaken the walls between worlds, his call will come again. Perhaps it will be the rustle of leaves at midnight, shaped into words you almost understand, or a reflection that moves on its own. And this time, when he calls, you will answer. But what, in the end, will you be? For the Nameless King abides. In the unnoticed gaps of your world, he waits, your silent sentinel, your inevitable undoing. Generations before you felt his presence and left only cryptic warnings scrawled on stone tablets, whispered in forbidden rites, or scorned as legend. They perished, their stories devoured by the void. and still he remains. Some rumors speak of a cosmic labyrinth, an ever-shifting realm of illusions where each quarter represents a soul he has taken. At its center, one might glimpse his throne, the tier in creation through which all things eventually pass. The walls themselves echo with the voices of the lost, calling out names that slip away as soon as they're heard. Others hint he dwells in the pockets of unformed space, outside the linear flow of time, where the concept of existence falters. Those who wander there are doomed to become half-shadows, silhouettes drained of individuality. Even if they return, they are husks, unable to communicate the scope of the emptiness they've beheld. On stormy nights, when lightning forks across a black sky, you might briefly see him etched in silhouette, a jagged crown of shadows, robes trailing like cosmic dust. In that fleeting second, you feel something ancient within you recoil, a primal alarm older than language. Fear. The fear that once drove your ancestors to pray to gods who could never protect them from the infinite hush lurking just beyond the glow of their fires. Old carvings and worn scrolls describe him in half-formed illusions, each retelling phrase over time, details eroding until only a few cryptic words remain: crown, shadow, unmade, silence. You can't be sure if these accounts are reliable, or if they are already warped by the unstoppable power they attempt to describe. You read these words now in a hush, your heartbeat echoing like a drum in the silence. The corners of your own home feel unfamiliar. Shadows stretch where they shouldn't, and you wonder if something watches from the periphery of your vision. The rational mind calls it paranoia. The deeper, instinctual mind recognizes a threat that surpasses reason. Yet daily life continues around you. Strangers on the street go about their business, unaware of the hush that pulses in your veins. You want to scream a warning, but your voice feels inadequate, as though he might hear and draw nearer. The hush intensifies in your silence, a steady drumbeat of dread. Recollections of childhood nightmares bubble to the surface. Monsters under the bed, eyes in the closet, unseen footsteps in dark hallways. They are trivial compared to the Nameless King. At least they had shapes you could name, traits you could articulate. He defies categorization. He is a void in the fabric of description, an eraser that reduces everything to emptiness. In your sleep, labyrinthine landscapes sprawl out, ceilings and walls contorting in impossible angles. You sense his silent footsteps echoing in distant corridors. Feel the weight of his presence at the center of that monstrous maze. You wake with your skin clammy, convinced you were moments from being absorbed by the hush. The dread lingers, a residue that stays long after sunrise. And yet, a strange curiosity compels you. You find yourself seeking cryptic tomes and archaic manuscripts, poring over riddles left by those who vanished into his domain. You tell yourself it's an effort to defend against him, to glean some protective knowledge, but a part of you hungers for forbidden truths, seduced by the possibility of understanding the ultimate cosmic secret. In dimly lit archives, you discover references to the Keeper of the Untold Name. You read of occult ceremonies performed under starless skies, rituals meant to coax him into view. Some tried to seal him away or make bargains, offering their souls or the souls of entire civilizations. Their accounts, if genuine, describe horrors beyond imagining, culminating in pages and pages of frantic scribbles that trail off into silence. Night after night, you sift through these fractured stories, losing yourself in a quest that becomes an obsession. You feel your own name slipping from you, your sense of self wavering as the hush creeps into your waking moments. You test your reflection in mirrors, half expecting it not to respond. Each time it does, you let out a shaky breath, but you know it's only a matter of time. Tell me, do you believe in fear? That first question echoes ceaselessly in your mind. You replay that moment, recalling the being that pulsed with living light in the suffocating dark. You crossed a threshold the instant you heard those words. Perhaps you were always meant to. Sometimes you try to find solace in the ordinary, the laughter of friends, the warmth of daylight, a familiar melody on the radio. These moments anchor you, yet even then, you sense the hush beneath the noise, a subtle undercurrent that never truly vanishes. It's as if the entire world has begun to warp around you, and only you can feel it. Hours, days, maybe even centuries pass. Your grip on time dissolves under the constant weight of apprehension. You wonder if the Nameless King notices your efforts to resist him. If he does, it doesn't alter his course. He endures, as constant as entropy, indifferent to mortal defiance. You speak your name aloud, affirming your existence. The sound trembles in your throat, as though it carries no weight beyond your lips. In the silence that follows, you almost sense a stirring, a subtle shift in the hush that wraps around your world. The idea of surrender flickers in your mind, an escape from the perpetual dread, a final dissolution into oblivion. Yet you hold on, thinking of the connections you have, the people who love you, the dreams you've yet to realize. You open your eyes to darkness yet again, but this time it is the familiar dark of your own room. A single lamp glows, the rest of the space in shadow. The hush remains, coiling just beyond the circle of light. If you close your eyes, you can almost see a distant throne forged from emptiness, crowned by pulsing darkness. You do not know when, but you know that one day you will stand before it. For now, you exist, and that is enough. The boundary between your life and his silent kingdom grows thinner each passing moment. Whether it is in a final moment of resignation or a surge of defiance, you will cross that threshold. Nothing can prevent that inevitability. And when it happens, you will face the Nameless King in all his silent majesty. That question remains, haunting you in every breath. What will you be when that moment comes? He is watching. He always has been. And when the echo of a fallen crown resonates like a distant toll in the darkness, you will know that your time has arrived.